Okay, everybody, here's my next project. I'm not very excited about it, but then again, I am. I've got my 1975 Premier Gig Maker drum set, and I'm going to refurbish it. I'm going to do this for two reasons. Uh, One being for the drum kit being on stage for thousands of hours and being over the road for 10 or 15 years. The laminate was beat to death, so what I have done is I have pulled the shell laminates off of the drum kit, and my intentions now are to redo the exterior and the interior. The interior for the reason being that there has been some structural damage from the kit being over the road. So as you can see, I've got two of the drums here, the bass and the floor tom, that I don't have the hardware removed from yet. Uh, Over here you can see I do have the hardware removed, and I hope the camera auto focuses, but if you look down inside here you can see that I do have some structural damage in here that trying to refocus. Regardless, there's light structural damage here that is going to interfere with the whole integrity of the drum. I also want to add some density to these shells. They're mahogany shells, and just for my own personal taste, I want to add some density to the shells to give them a deeper, hopefully more appreciated tone. Over here you see I've got a roll of veneer. This is mahogany veneer, rather expensive, but I am going to apply that to the interior of the drum shell to give it more mass, and hopefully that will do the trick. So this is the very beginning of my project. Again, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of this hardware off the bass and the floor tom, and we'll get started again at a different point in time. All right, upon further inspection after I got my kick drum bare naked, I can see some substantial structural damage where the legs come down, the floor legs on both sides. And I've got some considerable warpage up here on the tom mounting bracket area as well. Now, before I get started on any kind of interior reinforcement, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try to moisten these and get a radius clamp on here and get this formed back into its original position. And then once I have that done, there's a possibility I may use some super glue or cryo glue to keep the fibers where they want to be. And that way, that will give me the original radius and a good smooth surface here before I put the interior mahogany to the inside. Also, I've got a lot of nicks and boo-boos around here where all the hardware went through. I'm going to have to take and doctor those, which will be a relatively simple process. So I've got my kit all apart, and again, ready to begin. I'm going to go ahead and touch up some of these scraggly edges, and probably then the next step will be to get rid of the warpage and get the fibers back, and then I'm going to start measuring and cutting the new mahogany for the interior. All right, here's my bass drum. There's three spots where the two legs go through, and the tom support. Show you right here. I'm just going to, I've got my bracing in there. I've got them pushed similar, or a little bit proud of where they want to be again. I'm going to moisten this all up. And I'm going to moisten up the other spot where the leg goes through, just to show you how I'm doing this. Get it nice and moist. Probably should let it actually soak a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter much. Once I start to heat it, you know, it's going to draw the moisture in, and shouldn't have any problems. So again, nice and wet, and then get the cord out of the way here so I don't. Just going to go ahead and heat this up, and probably within short order you're going to see some steam coming out of here. I can hear it relieving the shell. It's kind of cracking the fibers to get them back aligned. You can hear that. And here comes the steam. I want to be real careful that I don't overheat this and crack it, because it may push all the way through, and that's not going to be a good thing. But you can see I'm really starting to bow that out, and I'm going to flip it over here and get a quick check on the outside profile, see what we're looking like. I think that is perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and heat up the second side here. Give it just a little another drink here. And we're going to bring this up to a boiling temperature. And this one is pretty deformed. I will not kid you. I've got my doubts whether I will be able to get this all back into its original profile curve, but we will try and see. Again, it's probably going to take a couple, 3 pushes in different locations to get this up and to the proper position that I want it to be. And it's looking like we're starting to get a little bit of vapor here. Might start to hear some fibers popping and cracking. You want to be careful that you don't overdrive this and overheat it and push the rod clear through the drum, which would be not good. I hear some things start to sizzle here. And once again, I'm going to let that go at that heat level. Take a look at my outside profile. And I think that is looking pretty good for that point in this area. So we're going to let that cool off and probably move around and do a little bit more of this area, and then cross over and do the other leg exit on the bass drum. I'm pretty pleased so far. I like it. Alright, now you can see I've got my reinforcement done in here. Got everything done what I need to do to make this a lot stronger, I think. And now basically it's just a matter of we're going to sand it down a little bit. On the toms and stuff, I've filled all the holes because those holes were all damaged. So I filled them in, and you know, now it's just a matter of sanding them down. And okay, basically I've just finished sanding this. To get the Bondo off there, I started with my Dremel tool and got the high spots, smoothed out all the tapering edges. Then I took some 50 grit, went around here and hit it with 50 grit, went over it lightly with a 120 foam sander. And so I think I'm pretty happy with the strengthening, and I think this is going to give the overall integrity of the drum a lot more support. Okay, girls and boys, boys and girls, you can see I've got my laminate in. It's looking pretty good. Got her sanded down, and right now I'm going to start to put some mahogany stain on mahogany. So here goes nothing. This is the exciting part. We get to start finishing. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, she's going to look good. Very excited to get this on. Shot in the dark as to how I go about the OD. I think it's just going to be trial and error and just kind of wing some colors in. This is supposedly a quick drying stain. And then the question is going to be whether I want to go ahead and lacquer or no lacquer in here. It's going to be kind of hard to decide what it's going to sound like if I lacquer it. You know, most drums are not lacquered on the inside, they're just natural. So we'll see. I think we may end up putting some lacquer in here. A little bit of polishing compound here. Using mineral spirits. It is an oil-based polish. There you have it. Once again, here's a little bit closer up. Polished parts over here on this right. And again, the parts on the left you can see are not looking that good at all. So I think I'm satisfied with the polish. It is a little bit time consuming, but again, I think I'll take it.